In this video, I will backtest this 95% winning Forex trading formula created by FX Accurate US to see if it's really this accurate. As always, I will backtest the strategy 100 times with an initial account size set at $1,000 with 1 to 1.5 risk-reward ratio. Okay, so the creator of this strategy mentioned that it works perfectly well on a Forex market and it's suitable for scalping. And for this strategy, we will need to add 2 indicators. So for the first indicator, let's search for Premier RSI Oscillator. This indicator by Lazy Bear. And for the second indicator, let's search for Humble Bar Correction. Humble Bar's possible correction zones, actually, this one right here. Now we need to change the settings on this RSI oscillator. So let's first change this RSI length from 14 to 7. The stochastic length from 8 to 6. And the smooth length from 25 to 9. Also in the star section, let's make this Premier RSI stochastic line visible. Okay, the setup is ready. Now let's understand how these indicators work. So let's first start with this Humble Bar possible correction zone. This indicator consists of 3 parts: a baseline, an entry signal, and a stop loss line. Depending on the direction of the price, the baseline will change its color. If the overall trend direction is bearish, the line will be colored in red. If the market is consolidating and the price is moving sideways, the line will usually be colored in white. And once the price action starts moving in an upward direction, the line will change its color to green. This indicator also provides entry signals, so as soon as we have a blue triangle appeared below the price, this is considered as a new bullish signal. And if the triangle is red and it's above the price action, this is a new signal to sell. As we can see, these signals are primarily designed to catch reversals. And finally, we have these horizontal lines. These are basically the prices where we should place our stop losses for long and short entries. Now let's talk a little bit about this Premier RSI oscillator. This is going to be our second confirmation indicator in this strategy. This is a zero line cross indicator, and every time the line crosses and closes above the zero line, the histogram will turn green, and when the line closes below zero, the histogram will turn red. We're not going to be using this indicator to identify the overbought and oversold areas. We're simply going to be confirming the signals from our first confirmation indicator by the color of the histogram. Alright, now let's jump into the trading rules and understand how to trade with this strategy. Okay, so for a long position to be valid, we first need to have a new buy signal issued by the Humble Bars correction indicator. The second condition will be to have a new bullish candlestick that would close above the baseline. And finally, we need to have the RSI histogram colored in green. We're going to take a long position at the close of our trigger candlestick. Our stop loss will be set at the very recent stop loss level. And we're going to be targeting 1.5 times the risk. Exactly opposite is true for short trades. We first need to have a new sell signal issued by this Humble Bars correction indicator. Then we're waiting for another bearish candlestick that would close below the baseline. And the RSI oscillator histogram has to be red color. We see all our conditions are met. Our stop loss will be set at the recent stop loss level. And the take profit target will be set at 1.5 times the risk. The only thing I don't like about the strategy is the fact that it issues quite early entries. We see this one right here was definitely a loser. However, if we take a look at this bullish signal, we can see that it was definitely a good trade. Also, this RSI oscillator doesn't seem to eliminate any of those bad signals, which is definitely something we need to improve in this strategy. So in the second part of this video, I will actually try to find a way to eliminate losing trades like that. Okay, so now let's do our backtesting and see if the win rate for the strategy is actually 95%. Okay, so after testing this strategy for 100 times, we see the win rate is not anywhere near 95%. It's only 39%, and we decreased our account size by 7.65%, which is definitely something we do not want to see. And take a look at this equity curve. It's all over the place. We see we had a nice winning streak right there. And if for some reason you skipped the backtesting and started trading with the strategy somewhere at this point, you would have actually increased your account size by 30%. And you would have thought, oh my god, this is something I had been looking for for my whole trading career. But then unfortunately the reality slaps you right in the face. The profit factor for the strategy is only 0.96 and we had 8 consecutive wins against 6 consecutive losses. Okay, so now let's actually try to make this strategy a bit better. First of all, let's add a third confirmation indicator to the chart that would eliminate a lot of bad signals. And that indicator is called a relative volume. This indicator by OH92. So let's first double click on it and change some settings. The second step will be to make this RSI oscillator a bit slower. Okay, so we see right away we've got less noise and less false signals. And finally, let's make some adjustments to this Humble Bars positive correction zones indicator. So I suggest to change the smoothing from 10 to 20. Let's also change this SMA period from 10 to 50. And this smooth OL from 10 to 30. In the style section, let's remove these shapes. Okay, the setup is complete, let's get into the trading rules. Okay, so for a long signal to be valid, we need to have the price action closed above the baseline and the baseline has to be green color. The RSI has to issue a new buy signal, which means this histogram has to turn from red to green. And the relative volume histogram has to be green color and it has to break above this moving average. We see our conditions are met and this is going to be our trigger candlestick. Our stop loss can either be set at the recent swing low or at the baseline. And our take profit target will remain the same. We see we're not taking any trades when the baseline is white color because this indicates a ranging market. And this new volume indicator is also doing a great job of eliminating bad signals. Okay, so for a short position to be valid, we need to have the price action closed below the baseline and the baseline has to be red color. The RSI oscillator has to turn from green to red and the volume histogram has to be green color and it has to be above the moving average. Our stop loss can either be set at the recent swing high or at the baseline. So for a recent swing high, we need to have at least 2 consecutive bullish candlesticks and we're setting our stop loss at the close of the last bullish candlestick. So we see the strategy is completely different. We're not catching tops and bottoms, we're going with the trend. You can definitely tweak the settings and maybe find the better ones. I don't have any questions to the baseline, I think it's doing a great job. But this RSI oscillator can definitely be replaced. Also, if your strategy issues a signal on a candlestick like this, you would definitely skip it because the price usually reverses after such a sharp move. Also, if your indicator issued a signal but the volume is not there yet, you do not wait for it to catch up, because you're risking to enter the trade at the worst price. Okay, I hope you have understood the rules for the strategy, so let's actually do our second backtesting and see if the strategy is any better. Okay, what is going on here? So even with some bad indicators, we managed to get our win rate to 60% and the strategy is actually making good money. I found those 100 setups within 2 months, so that's an average profit of 2.7% a day. I'm not saying you will get these numbers in the live market because the spreads and fees are quite high, but if you can make at least half of that, that would be absolutely great. The profit factor is 2.25 and we had 6 consecutive wins against 4 consecutive losses. So in conclusion, I will say this: always do your own backtesting and do your best to improve the strategy just by a little bit, because increasing the win rate by even 2% matters a lot. Okay traders, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash the like button, it really helps with the channel. And also if you want to see more strategies like this in the future, then feel free to subscribe to Trade IQ.